Hi guys, this is Nibawa Jude, and you're welcome to Learning with Richie. So on this channel, we talk about immigration issues, we talk about life in Canada as international students, and like lifestyle generally in Canada. So in today's video, I'll be talking about some immigration issues, and like we know over I think for some time now, the federal skilled workers since the beginning of this COVID pandemic, the federal skilled workers program was kind of like put on a hold. There was kind of like so many applications there. The backlog was so huge that they decided to just like suspend that particular route for immigration. So there is information coming in from the Minister of Immigration, which says that sometime in July they will start accepting those applications again. And that is why I am making this video, to reach out to some of you out there. I know many people might have just like been discouraged because of the fact that maybe those applications were not processed any longer. And also based on the huge backlog that we have. But then, since things are gradually opening up and the pandemic is gradually becoming like maybe a regular, a daily issue, those applications will open up again. And it's time for you to kind of like maybe reconsider making an application with that portal. So this video today will focus on like how to make an application, like how to prepare a file, and everything that concerns you getting into the Federal Express, the Express entry pool for federal skilled workers. So I know many people do not understand what this process is all about. So many people kind of like they contact many immigration agents and experts to assist them with, but I'm not kind of like uh, refusing you from maybe getting assistance from an immigration expert. That is what they are trained to do. But also we have some situations where other people kind of like they just use this opportunity to make money from others, and some of those guys are not even licensed. So my point in this video is to empower you to be able to do like to create a profile by yourself and make the entry yourself. You know, just create the stuff and put the stuff out there. It is pretty straight to the point, and once once you're able to read, you can make the application. So the first thing for you to know, if like how do you get into the Federal Express entry pool? The Express entry pool, first of all, you need to meet certain criteria to know if you qualify. And this pool is kind of like, it's a point-based pool. So, and points are attributed to candidates based on certain key criteria. I think about 4 of them. Will have points given to you based on your work experience, educational level. You also have a language proficiency, and then age and marital status. So those are some of the key points that you use to kind of like get into the pool. So now for you to be able, for you to qualify into this pool, there are certain things that you need to meet. The first thing is like you will need to have your credentials evaluated. There are different credential evaluation bodies. When I talk about credential evaluation, I'm like talking about you getting your maybe your whatever diploma you have or degree or certificate you have in your country equivalent to a Canadian standard, and there are some bodies that are able to do this evaluation. There's one we call the World that's West, that's the most common one, and there are a couple of other ones. So it's World Education Services. So when you kind of like you have a back and forth communication between you, West, and your institution, and they'll be able to do a credential evaluation for you. That's one thing. And then you also need to have at least 1 year of continuous work experience in the past 10 years in a skilled profession or in a skilled trade. So let's take for instance, maybe you are, let's say, a banker, or you are an office administrator, or you are a baker or something. The condition for you to get into this pool is that you should be able to do it. You should be able to get you should have worked continuously for the past 10 years. You should have worked continuously for at least 1 year within the past 10 years. That will be another requirement. And you should be somebody, your profession should be in a skilled profession. And in Canada, we have what we call the skills they are evaluated into 3 groups. We have we call them NOC code. That is the National Occupational Classification Code, where they classify occupations in Canada based on different criteria. We have NOC code O and A, we have NOC code B, we have C, D, and so on. So now, like, they're looking for people who have a particular NOC code, and the NOC codes there should be O, A, B, C. So you have to have maybe your qualification is supposed to, like, a profession is supposed to be among one of these professions. So I will just let me look through like some of the things. I really give the details the way they are. So the first thing, like I said, is for you to check if you are eligible, and I've given what the eligibility criteria are. Is that you have to be, like, you should be continuously employed for at least 1 year within the past 10 years. You should have a valid language proficiency. This is another important thing. You need a valid language proficiency, and you can either take there is TOEFL, there is IELTS, there's another one in Canada, we call it CELP, that's Canadian English Language Benchmark, and they have a certain score there. So the higher score you get, the more points you get. So in a while, I'll be giving you the various points that you have at the level of each of these items that you have for the eligibility criteria. And then you should also have either you have a Canadian education which is equivalent to secondary school education, or you should have your credentials evaluated to that. That's what I was talking about, the West stuff. So you need to get a credential evaluation. And then you must, like, when you put your points together in a point, because I said it's a point-based system, and the total points are 100. And for you to be eligible for this particular pool, you should have at least 67 points on 100 in this pool. So once you have 67 points, you will now be able to, like, get the application approved for it to be in the pool. Then now, what happens is, like, when those applications are in the pool, from time to time now they come in now and they come in to pull candidates from that pool based on the point. So they'll be taken out based on the highest point. So they always have this thing. I think every 2 weeks, that's how they used to do it. After 2 weeks or a month, they will do a draw, and then now they'll be like pulling out candidates from the pool based on the points. So they have cutoff point, and then also there's the longer you have stayed in the pool, the better, because if they are taking a cutoff point to the, let's say, maybe 470, and then there are so many people with 470 now, they will go now by those who have stayed in the pool longer. So if you are able to, and another interesting thing is that you can create a profile in this pool. If it is approved, you can always go back to make modifications to it. So if you are able to create a profile, just go create a profile. And then maybe if you take language proficiency, you can go back now and indicate that in that profile that your language has improved, so you can maybe get higher points. Maybe you have a new educational qualification, you can go indicate there that you've gotten another certificate, and then you increase the points. So, but then it doesn't cancel when your profile was made in that particular pool. Okay, so now we go to look at like I just made mention of those key things that you need to have to be able to, for you to qualify or to be eligible for for this pool. So like the education, with your educational level, you are able to pick up out of those 100 points. Education will be able to give you 25 points, and this 25 points is based on, for I think PhD candidates and people who have above PhD will have the 25 points. I think for masters and other professional degrees, they are 23 points, and then less than that it will be kind of like other points. You have the breakdown of the points down, but the highest one is PhD, which is 25, masters is around 23. Then you also, language skills will be able to like give you up to 28 points on 100. So if you are very proficient in English, you write the language test and you score very high there, you will be able to like get this point. So your target when you're taking IELTS should be 8 in all the bands, and that is not easy. So you have to prepare very well for the English test. So when you have 8 and above, you'll be able to you'll be making points around this 28. And then you also have work experience. So your work experience will be able to contribute to up to 15 points on the 100. And now when they're looking at work experience, it's broken down into 2. They look at their work experience in Canada. If you have been somebody who have been in Canada before, or maybe you have worked in Canada for the past 5 years, maybe if you have worked in Canada, it will give you some certain number of points. And then they'll accumulate everything. Maybe if you have foreign work experience, like in the past 10 years, you worked maybe in your own country before coming to Canada. If you're already in Canada and you're applying, you're already in Canada on a work visa and you want to get permanent resident, then now you'll be able to accumulate some points from your experience within Canada. But if you have never been to Canada before, then you will not get points for experience within Canada. You'll be able to get points for your experience out of Canada. And then you have age. Your age will give you up to 12 points. So they want people to come to Canada, maybe those who are around, I don't really know the cutoff point down. It should be 20. I don't know if it's 22 or so, or maybe 15, I think. So if you are within the age bracket, maybe like from 15 to 30, yeah, I think you will get the highest number of points, because that is the active working age. So now when you start getting above 30 years, the points now will start dropping. You'll not be able to get up to the 12 points there. Maybe you might be able to get maybe 10, 8, 9 and stuff like that. But if you're within that maybe 15 to 30 years, I think you'll be able to get the 12 points. And then you also have arranged employment. Arranged employment will give you 10 points. So this arranged employment is for somebody who maybe is like who has gotten a full-time job with an employer in Canada. If you already get a full-time job, then that will be able to give you 10 points. And then adaptability. When we talk about adaptability, it's like if you have a family member who is based in Canada, where you're intending to travel to, like a province, then you might be able to accumulate up to 10 points. So those are the various points that you get based on the different items that the eligibility items. So now you can estimate how many points you make to see if you put your profile in this, if you make an application in this profile, if they'll approve it or not. So that is it. Then now the second step for you to do after you've checked the eligibility criteria and you see that you've met the eligibility criteria, the next thing you need to do is for you to go in and submit an express entry profile with IRCC. There is a particular video that I made on how to make an application with IRCC. I will leave the website on this particular video. IRCC is a portal in Canada which deals with immigration issues. So anything that you have to do in Canada which pertains to immigration, you will go through and that body, it takes care of everything that concerns immigration. So if you want to create an express entry profile, you will need to first of all go to the website and create a secure account, and then you follow the instructions there which will prompt you. So when you go there and create a secure account, through that account now you answer a questionnaire. That questionnaire you'll be answering now putting. They'll ask you why are you coming to Canada. You say express entry. Then they'll start asking you questions about have you been to Canada before, your education and stuff like that. You answer those. So now it's through this portal that they'll be able to see if you've met the eligibility criteria above. So there you'll be able to put in your educational scores, educational level, language proficiency, all those things. Now at the end, when you submit that profile through this IRCC website, they will now come back to tell you if your profile is eligible for you to, if it's eligible, it means that they will leave it in the pool. If it's not eligible, then they will just cancel it and then nothing has been done. So once it's eligible, they will leave it in the pool now and then see if your points are up to the point that will meet the threshold that it will be selected for an invitation. So once you start filling the form in this particular profile, they will expect you to have 60 days to complete it. So it's not something that you must sit on one spot and do it. You can start and then you sign out, you come back later to continue it. So but once you have started it, you have 60 days, that's 2 months, to make sure that you've completed the profile and submitted it so that they can evaluate if you are eligible or not. And then now, after you've submitted your profile, the next thing will be to check for an invitation to apply. They call it ITA. This invitation to apply now will be after maybe they have been told that your application, you've met the eligibility criteria, and then you are in that pool, assuming that you've had the points that have met the threshold, and then when they are doing their selection, you have been included among the people who have been selected. Now they will send out this invitation to apply, telling you that you have been selected for the express entry pool, and now that they want that you are welcome to apply to come to Canada. And now when you have that, you go to the next step. Once you receive the invitation to apply, the IRCC will be telling you which immigration stream you've qualified for. If it's a Canadian work experience, Canadian experience class, if it is the federal skilled workers class, or it's a provincial nominee. So if it's a provincial nominee, then they will indicate to you, and then now they will send you instructions on what next to do. Like what they'll be doing in the next step will be like checking the information. Like if you said you had 5 years employment experience, they will now be asking you to provide those 5 years experience. Maybe you have your employer send in a recommendation letter saying that you've been working with them for this time and stuff like that. So they will ask the documentation that you provided during when you were kind of like making when you were filling the questionnaire at the level of the IRCC website. They will now be asking to see documentation that back up those statements that you made up there. And now if you provide, like maybe you make some statements that are false up there, and then they ask you to send the documents, you send documents that do not tie with the information you have provided above, then this invitation will be rejected. But if you're able to provide the information, then now immediately, depending on the program that you've had, so if for instance maybe you kind of like applied for express entry and you had low points, and you also applied for a provincial nominee program. Now once you are being kind of like, if you are picked up at the level of the provincial nominee, they will automatically give you 600 points. So the 600 points will automatically be sent to your IRCC account, which will kind of like spark up the points that you have there, and you automatically be able to be selected for the next draw that is taking place. So when that is done, now they will give you now the list of documents that you have to prepare, and then the application fee that you prepare, and how you submit those documents to them. It will still be through the portal, so they will tell you what to do, when to do it, based on like the program that you have been selected for. So that in a nutshell, that is what this express entry is all about. That is the process that you go through to be able to come to Canada as a skilled worker. There are also other immigration routes that you can use to come to Canada. One of them, which is very popular, is a provincial nominee. So this provincial nominee is similar to the federal express entry program, but then this one is run by the provincial government, not the federal government. So different provinces will have different labor needs that they want to fill, and now they'll be now inviting international applicants or skilled immigrants based on the skills that are needed in those provinces. Some provinces will be looking for IT guys, and they'll be out there to get IT, while some people will be looking maybe for say for healthcare providers and stuff like that. So provinces need. So like I said, maybe what New Brunswick will be looking for will be different from what Alberta will be looking for, will be different from what maybe Manitoba or Saskatchewan are looking for. So the provincial programs will just depend. But it's something that you also have to consider if you want to immigrate to Canada, because those, like the provincial programs, I think they are less complex, or they are easier to get into than the federal skill program. But then again, it doesn't hurt you to get an express entry profile for a skilled worker, and then you go to the provincial programs too, because there are some provincial programs that are associated or they are linked to the express entry program, and when they pick you there at the level of the province, it helps you to be picked at the level of the express entry. So that's it. You have to consider all those. So thank you so much. I was just out here to provide some information, and hope this video is informative enough. This is out here to guide you to be able to do the process by yourself, and you can read a little more on that. But basically what I've explained in this video, that is a process that you have to go through it, and you can go there and create a profile and just begin to put those things, like slowly but surely put them together, and before you know, it will be selected. So it will also tell you which area you can improve on if you want to get selected. So thank you so much again, and I will see you in my next video.